Good afternoon and welcome. Welcome indeed, yes, to a Tuesday edition of the Mark Moses Show podcast, as we're always broadcasting from the Anidjar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. Take back control of your life. Call them today, 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-3733. It's Anidjar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Now, joining me right now, here in Brevard County, does a great job with his amazing network. Yes, Brevard Sports Network. He is Alan Zlotorzynski. He's got the Ravens hat on. He's ready to rock and roll. Alan, how you doing today?
I'm doing great, Mark. Love this time of the year. My favorite weekend of football is coming up. We've got the divisional round. I love the divisional round. It's my favorite weekend. And, of course, the national championship coming up Monday night.
Did you survive the Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday? Just every night over the last week has been a playoff game. Did you survive it?
Survive? I wish for it again. Listen, you got a dog in the hunt, right? So for the rest of us that do not this time of the year, it is a unique feeling to be able to not have to go through an entire weekend with not having a knot in my stomach waiting for the Ravens to choke away a potential playoff win. So it was fun to sit back and just enjoy what was arguably, no, I won't say arguably, I will say the best wildcard weekend I've seen in many years. 12 lead changes in the fourth quarter, 4 game-winning touchdowns in the final 3 minutes, 4 comeback wins in the final 3 minutes. That's a hell of a weekend of football.
Yeah, even Sunday night with New England and Chargers of L.A., 16-3, it was kind of a dud, but it wasn't a lot of points scored.
And the game was within a score going into the fourth quarter.
Yeah. And
outside of last night, which was a 7-6 game going into the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
Listen, it was a phenomenal weekend of football. I watched your Bears and Packers from start to finish. I watched a lot of these from start to finish, and it was a lot of fun.
It was weird for me where, for the first time in about 5 years, no Buccaneers game. I'm so used to them playing Wildcard weekend because they've done it 2000 to 2025 every year being in the playoffs. Mm-hmm. And then we were watching Carolina, who, by the way, put up a great fight in that game. They gave us a football game. I don't think – these are all the hypothetical questions I'm going to ask you. I'm happy Carolina got there. I don't think the Bucs would have put up a fight like that against the Rams.
The Buccaneers looked terrible down the stretch. I thought the Panthers were the better. Look, I know the Bucs beat them, okay, in that game, but I thought the Panthers were the better team down the stretch. Listen, the Buccaneers have a front office and ownership that they'll fix what ails that team over the winter. You look at a team like the Panthers, Mark, and you feel good for an organization that you felt like needed something like this to be back. I mean, I remember the Jake Delhomme days when they went to the Super Bowl and they beat the Seahawks in the championship game and that impressive run that team had. The Panthers, listen, that was a hell of a football game they played against arguably the best team in the NFL.
I'll be honest with you. I said this to my dad. I know this is really mean what I'm going to say. At the end there, I kind of liked the Panthers choked because I felt like with karma, if they would have won, then that would have been the upset of the day and they would have gotten all the roses and my Bears would have lost. I know I'm talking Homer now, Homer Bears talk. That's how I kind of felt.
But look, I don't think, your Bears, if your Bears lose that football game on Saturday night, I can't imagine you'd have been very happy, and Chicago would have been very happy. I mean, they played a piss poor of a first half as you could play in an NFL game and still win it. Listen, I think the bigger story coming out of that football game is yet again Matt LaFleur and the Green Bay Packers blow another double-digit fourth-quarter lead late. And I don't just mean a fourth-quarter lead. I mean in the final 3 and 4 minutes of a fourth quarter, they couldn't have choked any more than they did. But listen, I give your Bears all the credit in the world. I will say this. If Chicago plays like that this weekend, they'll get hammered.
They will get hammered. I thought of you personally, and I've waited a couple days to say this to you. So it reminds me, it always goes back to that Ravens-Chiefs AFC Championship game. Because in that game, in the second half, the Chiefs have the lead, and they decide, we don't believe Baltimore can score and beat us, so we're going to go vanilla the whole second half. We're not going to score. We're not going to turn the ball over. And the Ravens, you got to beat us. And the Ravens couldn't get it done. And I know that breaks your heart. I know it does. So I bring this up. The Bears could not stop Green Bay in that first half. Could not stop them. The only way we stopped them was right before half, they missed the field goal, which was an indicator of things to come. Third quarter, and this is why LaFleur should get fired. Third quarter, same game plan as the Chiefs. We're not going to go up tempo. We're not going to throw it down the field. The Bears can't score. We're going to go vanilla. We're not going to do anything. Dude, and you know, it's funny. Parsons, who every Packer fans wish he was healthy playing in this game, he tweeted at halftime. Micah Parsons, Pro Bowler. He said, don't let your foot off the gas. The Bears will come back. You got to sweep the leg. Nope. Bears still had chances.
I mean, you know, if you're Green Bay and you're Matt LaFleur, do you not remember the Bronco game? The final 2 minutes of that game. Do you not remember go back to week 3? Do you not remember the Cleveland Brown game and week 3? And if those two games aren't vivid enough memories for you, how about the game you just played against Chicago a couple of weeks ago, in which you let them back into the game, they force overtime and beat you? Yeah, I thought, listen, you know, and I know we're going to get to this. Mike Tomlin steps down today, and you know, so Andy Reid now becomes the next longest tenured head coach in football.
Yeah.
But right behind him is Matt LaFleur. And I felt like Matt LaFleur probably should have got fired for this. You know, you look at guys some of the guys that have been fired in this cycle, like the Kevin Stefanskis of the world. They didn't have quarterbacks. Matt LaFleur does have a quarterback, and you cannot do what Green Bay did this year and somebody not pay the price. Matt LaFleur should be fired.
I couldn't get over. So in the fourth quarter, their first-round pick from Texas, their wide receiver, first-round pick, he scores this amazing touchdown in that game. So they go back up double digits. The announcers go, oh, that's his first touchdown of the year. What? Yeah. Why is that the first touchdown?
That was his first touchdown of his NFL career.
What? He's your first round pick. He should be ready by now. The Bears have Colston Loveland, which was, everyone criticized that pick where they should have taken Tyler Warren. Dude, he had over 100 yards receiving in this game. Yeah. They couldn't stop him, and he led the team in receiving yards this season. Dude, you know what? If you want to keep him as the coach, go ahead. I got no problem with that moving forward.
I thought the key for your Bears in the second half was your front seven. I mean, obviously, you know, Caleb Williams. I mean, you go back and look at, I had to rewind it because when you look at it from the back, Caleb Williams literally has both feet in the air pointing forward, throwing a football. How in the hell does a human being even do that? But he did it. And he dropped it in. There were 3 Packers there, and he drops that ball into the receiver down there on the 10-yard. Just an absolutely thing of beauty. But I listen, I mean, it was an impressive win for your Bears, that's for sure.
I know you're going to roll your eyes when I say this, and I put this out yesterday. For the first time in about 30 years, in this rivalry, the better quarterback was in navy blue and orange. I can't stress this. And Jordan Love is a good quarterback. There's potential. Williams could be better moving forward.
I don't disagree with you because great quarterbacks finish. Okay. I mean, that's what makes a great quarterback, right? I mean, that's what we're still, as a Ravens fan, that's what we're still pressing with Lamar. Can't win the big one, can't finish. Caleb Williams did that Saturday night. He won the big one.
Okay. This is for you. My dad asked this question, everyone, so you got to answer it. If Aaron Rodgers is the quarterback of the Packers, does he score on that final drive?
Yes.
Yeah. And that's the difference.
Yes.
That's all it is. But you know what? He don't play anymore. No. We saw this last night. Too bad for you because everyone gets a window. So I feel like moving forward, how it's going to be Bears-Rams Sunday night, as I knew it would be. I'll go over under 80 points where both teams could score. I don't know if there's going to be any defense in this game. How about you when you look at this game?
Yeah, listen, my biggest concern for the Bears is playing 4 quarters of football, which I think they're going to need to do here. I've not seen that from Chicago all year. I still think Chicago has yet to play their best game. And I've seen, for some strange reason, I've seen almost as much Chicago Bear football this year as I have Baltimore Raven football. So I feel pretty comfortable in saying that I don't think I've seen 4 complete quarters from Chicago in any one game this season. And if they don't do that Sunday night, they will get beat.
The last game they played complete, because they took on a trash team, was the Cleveland Browns in December.
Yeah, but that's Cleveland. And you gotta play 4 quarters against good football teams. And they're gonna need to do that.
I want to be honest with you. All last week, even when I was talking to you, I was completely nervous the whole time. Once they got through that win, I feel nothing now. Now I feel like we can win any football game.
I swear to you, I was in St. Petersburg this weekend, and I was watching this game. And I told the guy sitting next to me, DP, Coach Peterson over at Merritt Island. We were staying in an Airbnb Saturday. And I told Coach that watch what happens in the second half because, the Bears are going to come back. The Packers will choke this way. I was not shocked by the outcome of that. I was impressed with how they did it.
I texted you at halftime because you and other people I know were all writing the same message to me. What the hell is this? What is going on here? And I wrote back to you. It's like out of a Disney movie. We need a miracle. That's all I wrote to you. And then you start writing back, I think your miracle has been answered. And he just it kept going.
Yeah.
It's
the missed kick, the missed field goal was the miracle.
The extra, it's when he missed the extra
point. That's what I meant. The missed extra point was the miracle.
So we scored to get it to 5. And then you're like, okay, there's so many plays. I'm trying to remember them all. All right. We get down 3 points. Green Bay gets the ball. They go down the field again and get it to about the 22-yard line. We stop them on a 3rd down. So I turn to my dad and I go, all right, he's going to hit this field goal. We'll be down 6. Then he misses the field goal.
Right.
And then you're like, well, you're toast. And, dude, you talk about Ben Johnson, play calling. And this is where I go back to my point of every owner wants their Ben Johnson and they want their superstar quarterback. That's why your Ravens, it's going to be so interesting to see who they hire as their head coach to help out Lamar Jackson. So you know what they did? Game-winning touchdown. He took a play that Washington with Cliff Kingsbury did early in the year against the Bears. The winning touchdown play was you go the trips to the left side, you fake the wide receiver screen. So DJ Moore starts as a blocker, so everyone freezes. Then he just kind of curls to the sideline, bang, wide open. Washington did that play to the Bears, and the Bears stole it when it mattered most. That's why Ben Johnson's fantastic.
There you go.
That's what it is. So, it's interesting with you where you lose by a field goal to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, a week later, both coaches are gone. Did you think that when that game started, where both coaches would be gone in the offseason.
Yeah, I thought both Tomlin and Harbaugh had run their course. I just felt like the winner of that game last week. And Stephen Bisciotti, the owner of the Ravens, said it today. Bisciotti is just savage. The question was asked of Stephen Bisciotti today, and the exact question was, Jamison Hensley asked him, said, Steve, if Tyler Loop makes that kick, how much longer is John Harbaugh, or how much longer is John Harbaugh the coach of the Ravens? And Stephen Bisciotti's answer was, without hesitation, 1 more week. The decision had been made. Yeah. And basically what Bisciotti said was it was a decision he made a couple of weeks ago. And I would imagine that decision came on Sunday Night Football against the New England Patriots when Derrick Henry never touched the field again. And as far as for Mike Tomlin goes, good football people know Tomlin made the playoffs because Tyler Loop missed that kick.
Yeah, he did.
And last night, regardless if it was a 7-6 game, I mean, Tomlin himself said it after the game last night. They got 2 turnovers in the first half and couldn't do anything with them. The offense was putrid this season. Their defense kept them in a lot of games, allowing Aaron Rodgers to work a certain degree of magic at times against bad competition. The Ravens and the Steelers were not good football teams this year. Mike Tomlin, 19 years. John Harbaugh, 18 years. Listen, I mean, you can't say enough about what those 2 guys have accomplished in this league. Who in the hell coaches any team for almost 2 decades anymore, much less 2 division rivals? I mean, only George Halas and Curly Lambeau had more head-to-head meetings than did Mike Tomlin and John Harbaugh, right?
Crazy, man.
And it's nuts. So those guys are terrific head coaches. John Harbaugh is the most sought-after candidate. I don't think, Mike Tomlin stepped down. I'm sure it was a mutual decision. I don't know if Tomlin wants to coach again. He's certainly got a voice for TV. I'd be shocked if Tomlin coached this year unless the right offer came along. Be wild, though, to see him switch teams, wouldn't it?
All right, so I thought about this. I think in the history of the Steelers, I believe they've only had 3 coaches where it's Chuck Noll, Bill Cowher, and then him. If you think about it.
They've had 3 coaches since Chuck Noll.
Oh, who else?
Listen, there were years that Pittsburgh's been around forever in the National Football League, right? But I believe since Chuck Noll took over in the early 70s, they've only had 3 head coaches. But you have to remember, the Steelers have been around since Jesus was a baby.
And you've hated them every year.
Yeah, every year of my life, even when I wasn't born.
Yeah.
They've had head coaches in their tenure the Steelers were around in the 50s.
Okay, so 19 seasons. I don't believe he had a losing season.
Never.
Super Bowl championship, and then went to another Super Bowl and lost. Honestly, they were never the same once Big Ben retired.
Yeah, like for example, like if you go back to, Chuck Noll took over for the Steelers in 1969.
Okay.
The year before he was there, Jefferson Austin, whoever the hell that is, was the head coach of the team. Yeah, I mean, but the Steelers, you go to Pro Football Reference, the Steelers have been around since 1934.
Okay.
So that's a misnomer that they've only had 3 head coaches. But listen, to only have 3 head coaches since before I was born is impressive.
It is. And so your guy, John Harbaugh, I mean, Super Bowl, multiple AFC championship appearances.
4.
Yeah, constantly. You're always competitive. I can't remember the last time you guys were just god awful. Like, we're going to get the number 1 pick in the draft bad. I don't think it's ever happened. Really.
Well, he's only had 2 losing seasons. He's had 2 losing seasons, this one and another one. 3. We did have, I believe, a 5-win season under Harbaugh. But look, I mean, I will take everything that John Harbaugh gave this organization for 18 years. Me personally, I felt he should have been. You can't fire a head coach after an AFC championship game appearance. But if you could, I felt that was about the time to make the change, okay? But I definitely thought that they should have fired John last year after the divisional loss to Buffalo. But like Stephen Bisciotti said, he didn't feel it was right last year. This year, he had no doubt that it was the right decision.
All right. If you're Harbaugh or you're Mike Tomlin, if Stephen Ross of Miami calls you up, blank check, are you going there?
No,
you're not. So the key is this is what I want to ask you then as a follow-up. Whatever opening is there is the first question, what quarterback do you have on the roster?
Yeah,
is
that's
that
the
what
first question you're asking because, again, Bisciotti mentioned in his conference, John and Mike, these guys, they're not going to build an NFL franchise. If I'm Mike or John, I'm looking at a place like Atlanta. I'm looking at a place like the Giants, right? Guys that got quarterbacks in place that you can bring guys in to develop them, okay? I'm not going anywhere that doesn't have a franchise quarterback or a perceived franchise quarterback in place. I'm also not going someplace where they hire a head coach historically every 4 or 5 years. When's the last time the Miami Dolphins won a playoff game? If I'm a head coach, those are the things I'm looking at.
Is the Raiders with the number 1 pick? Now it's interesting what you just said, where they hire a new coach every 2 or 3 years. Raiders are going to have the 1 pick. I think they're taking Fernando Mendoza, number 1. Is that a good pick? Is that a sexy opening if you're going there?
I think it's sexy in the aspect of where it is. I think it's sexy in the aspect that it's still the Raiders. I think it's sexy in all those aspects. But let's be honest. Mark Davis is a terrible owner. And if I'm an NFL head coach, I don't want to be there. I think as you look at the landscape, the top job is right here. It is
because Lamar.
Because of Lamar. Okay.
And to win now.
And because of the way the franchise is run. The stability in place. Eric DaCosta, the general manager, the guy's been there since the day the team came through the door in 1996, okay? So you look at the stability that's in place. That's important in the NFL. A lot of people are going to hate this, but I hope the Ravens hire a guy like a Kevin Stefanski. I like Kevin Stefanski. The Cleveland Browns have had 46 quarterbacks since they returned to the National Football League. They've been to the playoffs 3 times. Stefanski has taken them twice, won 11 games 2 different times, and his quarterback was Baker Mayfield. So you give this guy a quarterback and a decent franchise, he's a good offensive mind, Stefanski is. But listen, Cleveland, nobody wants a coach in Cleveland. You rank these jobs, Cleveland and Arizona are last.
Where's Pittsburgh then as an opening?
Right there with Baltimore.
Yeah,
those are the 2 top jobs.
It's one of the marquee franchises in the NFL.
It's the Pittsburgh and Baltimore. I listen, I wrote an article prior to that game on Sunday night. Baltimore and Pittsburgh are the same cities. It's why we hate each other. They're both cities that were born on industry, died on industry, rebuilt on tourism and tech, by the water. They both live and breathe through their sports franchises. We both have dialects, Hun in Baltimore, Yins in Pittsburgh. It's crazy, right? How similar these cities are. And then you go back and you look at these 2 teams throughout the course of history and how similarly they have been built. Great defenses, great linebackers, big quarterbacks from small schools, Big Ben, Joe Flacco. The only thing the Steelers haven't done this go-round is been able to find a franchise quarterback, and the Ravens have.
And they may never get one again. There's no guarantee. They might
Not where they're not when you're losing in the first round of the playoffs and drafting 17th and 18th. Because Mark, the Steelers aren't the organization to trade away. They're just like the Ravens. They're not going to trade to move to the top of the draft board. They're not going to spend money in free agency, okay, to go get that quarterback. So unless Pittsburgh is willing to change the way they approach this, you're right. They may not find another franchise quarterback for a while. And the only reason the Ravens did is because they were willing to trade back into the first round.
Yeah, that's going to go down as one of the craziest things ever. Not what the Ravens did, which was smart. The fact that he fell there. Yeah. The dude should have been a top 10 pick. Who are we kidding here? I mean, come on. He killed people in college. You saw the tape. It's just ridiculous. All right, speaking of quarterbacks, I'm going to say it. I don't believe in Trevor Lawrence. I don't. I like him. I don't believe in him. I don't. When it matters, that you should have won that game. I know the Bills made more plays. Maybe the Jaguars defense kind of fell apart. When it matters, I don't believe in Trevor Lawrence.
Let me take you. There's two plays in that game that stick out to me that showed the difference in the ability of both the quarterbacks on that field. Both of them made by Trevor Lawrence, and both of them not far apart. And they both came in the first half, by the way. The first was the first interception Trevor Lawrence threw. Listen, Buffalo was sitting in a basic Tampa 2. You had a wide receiver breaking across the middle of the screen. The guy just stepped in front of the ball. Great quarterbacks don't miss that guy. Trevor Lawrence, that was a terrible, terrible interception thrown by Trevor Lawrence. And the next play was the 4th and 2 down in the red zone when he didn't make it. Josh Allen would never have not made that first down, okay? Lamar Jackson, I don't know about this year, but Lamar Jackson would never have not made that first down. Patrick Mahomes would have made. Those guys would make that first down. He had 2 yards to go, 2 yards, and he didn't get there. And I know it went to instant replay, but it shouldn't have been left to that. Trevor Lawrence is a good quarterback, but he's no Josh Allen. He's no Patrick Mahomes. He's no Lamar Jackson. He's never going to be. And that's the unfortunate truth for Jacksonville, because here's the problem. I believe they had a team good enough to play in the Super Bowl this year if Josh Allen were their quarterback.
This is why Josh Allen, this is his opening, because he beat Trevor Lawrence. Now he's going to go take on Denver with Bo Nix, who I know he played last year. I think, they beat Denver last year in the first round.
And I'm not big on Bo Nix. I mean, he got better as the season went on, but Josh Allen's a far better quarterback than Bo Nix.
I'm taking Buffalo in this game.
Well,
I think they're going to go there. I think this is the run. He can go on a run. They can't turn the ball over, but this is my pick. I know you're going to disagree. I think it's give me Buffalo, New England. I know you love the Texans. I'm taking Buffalo, New England for the AFC Championship game. What about you?
No. I think the Texans defense is just that good. Listen, they remind me immensely of the 2000 Ravens. The way they get after the quarterback, the way they stuff the run, the way they cover downfield, just the way they go to the football. I still go to New England's schedule this year. I still look at New England's schedule this year and say, whom have they really beaten? You know, I don't know. It's going to be interesting. I think, you get up in New England and you play, and it's supposed to be bad weather. I really believe the type of defense the Texans have travels, man. I really believe in that Texans defense. And it's the same reason I'm going to pick the Broncos over the Bills, because I believe that Broncos defense will be the difference. Josh Allen is a great quarterback, but he can be forced to turn the football over. And I have no faith in Sean McDermott, and I have all the faith in the other Sean standing on the other sideline. I just really believe that what you're going to see in the AFC is a defensive exhibition this weekend, and then in the NFC, an offensive explosion.
All right, here are my thoughts. New England is so fortunate that they took on the Chargers for Drake May's first game because he did not play well. I didn't think so.
No, he didn't.
No, and if the Texans,
the Chargers have a good defense too.
But if the Texans would have played New England in round 1, wild card, Texans would have beaten New England.
Yes, they would.
I think it was the best thing to get all these kinks out, and then they'll put up a better effort in round 2 on their offense. And I agree. That Texas defense is fantastic. It is. But I don't, and then there's Justin Herbert's another one. I don't believe in him either. He's been 3 playoff starts. How many excuses are you going to give after a while? Well, I don't believe you can win with him.
I think when you looked at the Texans offense last night, I think they turned the ball over 3 times on the road.
And it could have been more.
And it should have been more. And they still win a football game like that. I just think that Texans, and I've said this from probably week 15, having seen that Texans defense. I watched them pound the Ravens into oblivion. Thought they were pretty good then, but wasn't sure because the Ravens were not good. But as I watched them throughout the course of the year, I was like, wow, man, this defense is for real.
But here's the thing. C.J. Stroud cannot play like that in New England. He can't.
No, he can't. I don't think he will. Listen, I don't think he'll turn the ball over that much. Listen, and the other thing is the availability of Nico Collins, who left the game last night with a concussion. But I think the Texans lean on their run game, that offensive line, and that defense. And I think they go up there and smack New England the old-fashioned way.
All right, so you have Texans going to Denver on Championship Sunday. And then would you take the Texans to win that game?
No, that's probably where I would
end it.
Probably. And I just think because you're in Denver, I don't listen, you're not getting a Hall of Fame quarterback matchup in that one, but you're going to get 2 great defenses. And I don't know. I mean, you never know. I'd have to really take a look at that game to see who I would think would win that game.
Okay, you're going to disagree with me on this one, Alan Zlotorzynski, and he's joining me on the Anidjar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. I want a rematch. I want Niners at Bears. I know I'm probably not going to get it, but I want Niners-Bears in Chicago. Yeah, that's what I want.
You're not going to get the Niners rematch.
You don't think? No. You think Seattle's going to be ready for San Francisco?
Yeah, listen, Mike McDaniel and that defense at home, what'd they do to them? 13-3 the last time they played, held them to 3 points, right? San Francisco. Again, we could be looking at a championship. We could be looking at 4 teams, and this could be your 4 quarterbacks: Sam Darnold, Caleb Williams, C.J. Stroud, and Bo Nix. That's a far cry, brother, from Peyton Manning, Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, it is. I'm sick of San Francisco telling me every week how they have so many injuries. That's every year with them. Every single year, what is he, Tom Thibodeau, like in basketball, where he just kills his players after a while? What is this? Every time. And there's always, look, I'll just, seriously, I'm going to be completely honest. Every second with Kyle Shanahan, there's another scrappy white guy, tight end, running back, wide receiver. These guys show up, fit the system, and they keep winning.
I told you, listen, I got them all right this weekend. Go back to your show last weekend. I got them all right.
Oh man, dude, it was I'm not kidding around. I text you this. It was 13-10 in the third quarter in Philadelphia. They are the defending Super Bowl champions. They're winning the game. They won their division. They're up 13-10. The crowd is booing their own team, and their star wide receiver is fighting with their head coach. What is this? I was happy San Francisco won.
You just knew the Eagles had struggled all season offensively, but it was impressive what the Niners did. Kittle going down. They didn't have Kittle after the half, right? but they're not. I just don't see them going to Seattle and winning.
Dude, their offense was, all right, Juwan Jennings, you're going to throw a pass to McCaffrey for a touchdown. Then late in the game, because the Eagles don't know what they're doing, then McCaffrey's going to score another touchdown. That was the whole offense. That's what it was. And like Jalen Hurts, I don't understand him. I don't get, does he have the killer instinct? Does he just sit there? Why wasn't he scrambling? What was happening in this game?
You just got the feeling that, remember I told you earlier in the season, Lamar looked bored. You just got the feeling Jalen Hurts wanted it all to be over.
You know, you talked about with your Ravens with John Harbaugh. Again, Sirianni has coached them to 2 Super Bowls. He won a Super Bowl. But there's a part of me, it feels like if they fired him for some reason, I would not be shocked with that football team. Maybe it's just their offensive coordinator. It's now the coach, Kellen Moore, there in New Orleans. They're the weirdest franchise.
Listen, they make moves there on a wing and a prayer sometimes, man. But it's hard to argue with their success. But there will be changes because defending Super Bowl champs shouldn't lose in the first round of the playoffs. Right.
You have to get rid of A.J. Brown.
Yeah, well, that's a given. That's going to happen.
You have to. If they would have won that game against the Niners, my Bears would have crushed them.
Yeah.
Crushed them.
Oh, yeah.
Again. So, yeah, look, I'm a homer. I mean, look, you see this right here? There's no.
So you're obviously taking the Bears, right? Right.
Here's the game. Those wide receivers for the Rams, Puka and Devontae Adams, are fantastic. Puka might be the best wide receiver in the NFL, right? And even in that game against Seattle a couple weeks ago, we saw he shredded the Seahawks defense.
Yeah.
Remember, they won in overtime off a 2-point conversion after Puka scored first in overtime.
And
like, he could score.
And Devontae Adams leads the NFL in touchdown receptions.
Oh, man. So the key for me in this matchup is, this is where you got to start praying to any higher power you have if you root for the Bears. Can the secondary of the defense, can those guys, Stevenson, Gordon, can all those guys step up? And look, Gardner Johnson, our guy from Cocoa High School, right? He was out last week with a concussion. Can he come back? Can that secondary, can they make plays? And then can Montez Sweat and our terrible defense line, can they get pressure in the cold against that statue that is Matthew Stafford? That's our offense is going to score. We're going to score points.
I think there's 2 scenarios here. One, the Bears win. One, the Bears don't win. And I think it all comes down to halftime. I think if the Bears are within a score at the half or tied, they win this football game.
All right. Here's the game. Here's the thing. So there's none of my dad. You got to look. You might have to just come over and watch the game with us. So okay. You win the coin toss. You're the Bears. You're at home. Do you take the ball first?
Take the ball.
Okay, so you want the ball to show weak, because they did that against Green Bay. Went down the field, hit the field goal. Green Bay went and scored 3 straight times. Your mindset is, I'm taking the ball first.
Take the ball.
To prove to them we're going to score on you.
Take the football. It's the playoffs. Listen, you aren't the 85 Bears. Okay, so you're not trying to set a tone defensively. What you're trying to do is immediately from the jump of this game, establish an offensive rhythm that's going to allow you to play 4 good quarters of football. Take the football, and even if you go down and get 3 points, okay, it's a win.
You can tell I'm ready. I'm ready now. What is it?
Yeah, you're rocking. You're ready.
I am rocking. I can't like. That was so big. I know in the history of your franchise, you have some big moments. For me personally, there's been so much heartache with my team. I think the best in my life, when we beat the Saints to get to Super Bowl 41, that's still my favorite moment of all time. Like, just in my adult life, I get it, 85 Bears. Like, we've had great teams. When you're there at the stadium on Championship Sunday, it is the top of the top for me. It's the best. We're going to the Super Bowl. You can't replace that. It's the greatest feeling in the world. And then finally, because I think 15 years ago when when we lost that NFC Championship game against Green Bay and Aaron Rodgers, that's the worst. That might have been worse than losing the Super Bowl.
Well, I was going to tell you, but you already know this. The problem is this. If you lose the Super Bowl, I wouldn't know. But if you lose the Super Bowl, I'm sure it's heartbreaking. Okay?
Oh, thank you.
Right? I'm sure it's heartbreaking. But I believe that it's even more disappointing to lose like a divisional or a championship game, because at least you can say you got to the Super Bowl, right?
Yeah.
But if you lose before, like when the Ravens lost, I am still, right now, as I sit here and talk to you, there is no loss in the history of that franchise that still pisses me off more than when the Ravens lost to the AFC Championship game to the Chiefs. None. Absolutely none. Not even the one where Cundiff missed the kick in New England. That one, okay. But the game 2 years ago against the Chiefs in the AFC Championship game, that one still boils my blood.
Because they didn't score in the second half. I know.
I would have rather have just gotten beat 50-0, honestly, than the way we got beat. But it just, I would imagine losing the Super Bowl hurts, but you're there. You got to play on the last. You were one of only two teams can play the last NFL game of the season. Only one can win it. So if you're one of those two teams and you're not the winner, there's still a big sense of pride, right? Who in the hell remembers the loser of the championship games?
Remember the Colts that one year they lose to New England, then they put up the banner. They were like runner-ups. Terrible.
The hell are you doing, what's funny? That's an Ursay for you.
It happens every year. Like when those wild card games start, there's this moment like, wait a minute. We're not playing the Cleveland Browns anymore. And everything gets heightened. You saw this in the Jaguars-Bills game. Like, oh, my God, wait a minute. We're screwing up.
I saw an interesting fact that'll make you smile. If it hadn't been for the additional seeding added to the NFL playoffs, the Green Bay Packers would have missed the playoffs in each of the last 3 years. Yeah.
I honestly, I kind of wish the 2 seeds both had bye weeks still, and we didn't have the 7th seed. I don't know. But because the 7th seed's not going to win the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
it's not. There's no way
you'd be playing for the first time this week.
Yeah, I like the bye. I do, dude. We did that in 2005. We were the 2 seed. We hosted Carolina. My brother and I went to the game. That's when Steve Smith went crazy. So you brought up Jake Delhomme earlier.
Uh-huh.
Oh my God, it was like, what is happening? And you're like, well, the season's over. You just knew right away.
Right.
Like, oh my God. What is he, 5'8"?
Yeah.
You could not stop him.
He's still running through Soldier Field.
Oh my God. He killed us. So that's what's funny with every fan base. We all have our losses. We remember those losses. They kill you after a while.
Yeah.
Kill you.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Yeah. We're gonna beat the Rams. I know this is my show. I've told this everyone. I'm just going super homer now. There's no journalist integrity. I'm out the door. Just forget it. This is it.
That's awesome.
It's been 15 years. It's not like you every year. Oh yeah, we're in it. And then no. So, see, that's my question. This is my question for Jacksonville. All right, you won the division. Are you going to be good next year? Are you going to be, or like, because if you're betting, I'd go Houston's going to win the division next year. Like, I just right off the top of my head, like Tampa Bay next year, I wouldn't pick Tampa Bay to win the division. I'd probably take Carolina or maybe the Saints to win the division. That's what I'd go with. So, you got it. Are you doing any basketball this week?
We got Cape Coast Conference championships this week. Soccer, Cape Coast Conference soccer championship tonight for the boys. We got a lot going on this week.
Awesome stuff. All right, dude. Have a great week and enjoy the games this weekend. All right.
Appreciate you, brother.